Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. Today's video is going to be the flip through of my setup for November of 2023. So we're going to dive right into it. The first thing that I'm going to go ahead and okay. So we're going to put the Kokuyo off to the side because she's always last because she is the one that gets the most work. So it is worth noting that if you are new, hey, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. And if you've been hanging out for a while, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support. It's been a great year. And as we're winding down towards the end of the year, oh, by the way, happy November 1st. How the did we get here? Like how? How is it already November the 1st? But thank you guys so much for the support that you guys have been giving as we head very quickly towards 2024. My brain is just going bananas with all kinds of plans and dreams and hopes and everything. So I do want to just go ahead and say that if you were ever a fan of Wine Wednesday, it is coming back in December. I am definitely doing it every Wednesday in December. And so for those of you who have not participated before, Wine Wednesday is obviously on Wednesdays. I invite you to bring your wine or, mocktail of choice, a coffee, a tea, whatever, your water. Make sure you hydrate, peeps. Whatever floats your boat, and just come join me at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on all the Wednesdays in December. We're going to be doing planner setups and flip throughs and chats and all of that fun stuff. So a lot of the content that I normally post is live. So I just want to make sure to get that out. I am going to post the schedule for it probably fairly soon, just so that you guys kind of know what to expect on what Wednesdays and what that's going to look like, so that if you want to participate or bring your planner of choice and plan or craft or whatever, yeah, it's just a great time. It's so much fun to just have that experience with you guys. But I will be trying a wine from an advent calendar. I'm gonna get the In Good Taste like I did last year. I'll put some links and stuff down below so that if you want to participate with me, that you can. But yeah, I'm super excited to be back at it. I haven't done lives since March, just because it's not really made sense in the schedule. So I'm really jazzed to be getting back on that. But we're going to dive into what we came here for, which is November setups. So the first thing that I want to say, especially if you guys are new, these 3 planners really don't get a lot of work. I am also not a big pre-planner for the month. I am very weekly and daily oriented when it comes to my plans, mainly because my life has to be very flexible, and I get, just like everybody else, I do tend to get a little bit perturbed when I've written things down and had a plan and then it all goes to shit. So I feel like it's worth saying that it's not always my fave when I write things down in pen and then have to make it sloppy. So yes, there's that. I'm also a big promoter of making a planner work for you and it being function over fashion. So in several of these planners, they are merely there to track more than anything. So that being said, we're gonna dive into this little guy. This is my Hobonichi Weeks. As you can see, it's for 2023. I am planning to, I've said this so many times already, I'm planning to use it going into 2024. And if I can stretch it into 2025, I'm certainly gonna do so. I have considered getting like a sticker though, or doing some type of something just to indicate the year change. I don't know. I've considered it. I'm not married to the idea. It's totally fine. I don't do any yearly planning. I've tried a couple. My original goal was to do measurements across the top and then chart my weight. That didn't go so very well. I don't feel like it was very motivating. I don't feel like it served a good purpose to my mental health. So I stopped pretty quickly and did it very sporadically. I have not been using the monthly spreads. I am planning to get the Coffee Monster Co. Hobonichi Weeks kits because they're absolutely stunning. And I also want to be able to have what I need to like cover, because I will use this whole layout for something else. Like I could definitely see me recovering this to be January, this to be February, something like that. Like I'm very open to covering everything. I'm not gonna deal with that. I'll let it be the way that it is. I don't think I did anything in March, but case in point being, I don't really use the monthly spread. The only part of this planner that I do use is the weekly section. So I use the week, I just opened it to like last week, I think. Is this last week or this week? This is last week. But I use my weekly spreads, so there's no pre-planning. Again, this goes back to, this is meant to be a tracker for me, and I know we'll talk about that again when we do the flip through of October, but I just want to like show it on camera and just say like, okay, these are all the things that are in my lineup every month, even though there's no prep in all of them. So there's no prep in my Hobonichi weeks. That has changed. There have been some months where I've tried different things, like planning out a fitness routine, which I might do in December. And then there have been months where I've meal planned, also totally on the table for a next year thing. I definitely think that I'm inching towards thinking about fitness goals and what that means to me for next year. And I usually try to start in November, December, test driving a couple ideas so that I don't start on January 1st and start fumbling. Like I've kind of caught a rhythm by then, or I've figured out some things that need to drop off. So that's also a little pro tip for you. If you want to test drive a couple theories, like maybe you're looking at, cutting, red meat out of your routine. I'm just thinking of an example. Or maybe you're trying to eat more salads, or, maybe putting like new salad recipes in there. Like there's all kinds of fun. Now I'm like using that as an idea because there is like a salad recipe I've kind of been wanting to try for a while that's got chickpeas in it, but you get my point. Like I'm a tracker first and foremost when I start using a planner, and I do try new things, but I really leave myself as much room as humanly possible to play and grow and try new things. And I think, and I'll talk about that when I get to the tracker page here, because I filled it out a little too prematurely and I was really bummed because there were a couple of things that I wanted to start. It's not to say that I can't start them. I'm just not going to be able to track them in that place. And so I've already thought of a way to track that in a different way. So we're going to talk about that when we get there. Another planner that doesn't get any prep really, other than a checklist now, I use, well, that one doesn't have it. I use these like get it done half sheets to list out things that I need to pay over the month. And then I use the expense trackers for tracking. This is a skinny this is a skinny Happy Planner classic size. I'm pretty sure I'm fumbling that up or mixing it up. I'd say skinny classic, Happy Planner skinny classic. There we go. I think that sounds a little bit better. And obviously using inserts that fit that. You can obviously pop these into the classic size that's, classic, or you could even pop this into the big and it just wouldn't take up the whole page. I have a ton of Happy Planner products that just collected over time that I haven't used. And I am really considering even having like kind of a bonus off to the side Happy Planner for next year that would strictly be for like home. So basically like cleaning checklists, things like that. I might even go as far as to say it might start to incorporate some budget stuff. Basically, I am going to be on a pretty steadfast, use my supplies mindset for next year. I don't think I need to really dive into it too much, but obviously things are continuing to go up in price, and just trying to be more responsible with my choices. And as I go into 2024, I'm really realizing that I want to travel more and I want to have more experiences. And that means shifting where my money is going and just being more mindful about it. And there's nothing wrong with stuff. I just have a lot of stuff that I can use, and I feel kind of silly sometimes, like getting the newest, latest, greatest. So if you just needed that little nudge of encouragement to say I'm gonna go on a low spend or check my stash first. I'm really gonna be diving into some kit creations next year. Like, I've been thinking a lot about that on my drives to and from Jeff recently, that I really want to create some kits. I don't know if I'm gonna do them like on a seasonal level, like winter, fall, summer, spring kind of thing, or if I'm gonna do them monthly. We'll just kind of see how it goes. And where I land with time to promote to them. But that's just something I've really been thinking about. And that's gonna kind of lay more on the paper crafting side, but I definitely think I'm also gonna see that spill over into my planner side. So stay tuned for that for sure. But I'm definitely gonna be promoting a use your supplies mentality and only get what you actually need, not just what you want. So I would just go ahead and start preparing yourselves for that mindset. But as I said, I just kind of do my checklist and my expense tracker. It is worth mentioning that for September and October, I did not track at all. I don't think that that was necessarily like a hindrance to me. I had trips in both of those months, and things were very chaotic preparing for both of them down towards the end. So there was a little bit of extra spending that I normally wouldn't have. Then I was actually really reeled in on, ironically, the Orlando trip, where you would think that I'd be more, ripped out of the frame and buying all the Disney things. I actually did really, really well and bought only one souvenir, and I get to wear it, so that's really great, and I'm loving it, and it glows in the dark. And then I also bought a large amount of cookies, which sounds really dumb, but I love Gideon's cookies, and I buy enough to last me for the whole year, to where I can like get one out of the freezer once a month, which is really fun. And yeah, I'm just really excited about that. But I really, other than food, I really didn't spend a ton of money. Like, I didn't get a bunch of souvenirs. I really kept it like reeled in, and that was really nice. But as we head into holiday season with purchases, I'm really focused on getting back to tracking. I think I'm ditching the budget element. Not in a bad way and not in a I get to go crazy way, but I feel like in this never-ending inflation situation, it's really hard for me to nail down an amount that's respectable. It's more about, are we using what we have? Are we staying within our means more than staying within a dollar amount? And I know that could be conflicting for some, but for me, saying, okay, which it used to be $150. So I would have a $150 budget to get gas, groceries, takeout, planner stuff, all of that, whatever, like that was my budget. And I really think I need to slide away from that. And it needs to be more about, $150 needs to be food, gas, groceries. And then I need to be contributing to a craft fund so that I can have that money when coffee, sorry, I can't control that. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry about that. That's my computer ringing, and now my cat's super curious about it. Sorry. But I just want to make sure that I can dedicate funds to that, so that whenever I'm ready to shop a Coffee Monster co-sale, or whenever I want to buy things off Etsy, like that I'm being a little bit more mindful of it. And like, this is your craft savings budget. You can pull and add to it as you see fit. And I think that that's going to track a little bit better for me. So that's already something I'm thinking of going into the new year, and trying to get away from $150 being all encompassing, because I think that's a little unrealistic. And I feel like I noticed that a lot, and this is becoming a lot more reflective. This is normally kind of the things I would rant about in a flip through, but just to explain why there is no setup really, this is just a simple tracking situation. But I'll go ahead and wrap that whole thought process up and save it for the flip throughs. But more or less, I'm really gearing more towards getting back on the horse with tracking this month, because September and October are really rocky for me every year. not normally September, I'll say that much. Normally September goes off without a hitch, but October always is really rocky because I'm starting off with a trip and I come back and I'm exhausted. And then it's Jeff's birthday, and then it's trying to fit all the spooky things in, and then it's the end of the month and I've done nothing. So, blah. As far as this little guy goes, it is my Hobonichi A6 AVEC. There's no planning that happens in this. It is strictly daily pages and so fun and just a creative outlet. I am not planning on continuing in a Hobonichi A6 or Hobonichi AVEC or anything in that realm. I have a different daily structure that I'm going to be using. I think it served its purpose. I think I'm definitely going to miss it, but I really want to challenge myself to use a journal that I've had hanging out for a little while. So there's that. I don't know what is underneath. It's like pencil fuzz. Okay. All right, so getting into this beautiful baby. So this is my Kokuyo Jabun Techo A5 Slim. So it's a little bit smaller than a Hobonichi is, Hobonichi cousin that is, and it is just monthly and weekly. There's no daily pages aspect to it, hence my little AVEC companion that kind of not accidentally happened. But again, I'm gonna just go ahead and preface that I am a tracker and a planner first and foremost. So it is more important to me that I'm leaving lots of room to write the things down and to plan around them and to leave room for things to happen. So the first thing that we're gonna look at is my tracker page. So as you can see, October has been really light. Like I said, I've really had a rough go of it energy-wise for the last 2 months. And I think a lot of that has just been honestly workload combined with taking trips, all the preparing, trying to make sure content was coming out, like all of the things that it takes to just kind of be gone. If you're a content creator, then you totally get it. If you're just a normal human and you know what it's like to get ready for a trip, if you're having to plan for more than one person, it's a lot. And while I absolutely love being gone, and it sounds like I'm kind of being a whiny ass, I had a fantastic time in Orlando. I had an interesting time in Tennessee, and I am finally like inching back into the real world this last week or so. Like I've been back to posting in Coffee Monster Co. I've been back in like discussion mode with that. I'm really just kind of like getting back into my Instagram groups and just kind of settling back in and, you know, being present and getting ready to chat all the good stuff about 2024. So definitely getting better. I feel very optimistic about November and what I'm going to be able to pull off. This goes back to, I really did this premeditatively. I'm pretty sure that's correct. And what I mean by that is, while I'm really happy to be keeping the waking up at 5, working out, 12K steps, calorie deficit, water, I really could have, I wish I had kind of taken out the mood and energy, or actually probably moved the supplements over to my fitness planner and use that space for, I think I'm going to be trying Babbel to start off with. I've decided that one of my goals in 2024 is to be consistent with learning another language. And from what I'm understanding, Babbel tends to be more comprehensive than Duolingo. Duolingo tends to be more like gamey in a way, and not, I mean, it's helpful, sure, but it's not going to help you it's not going to inch you towards being more fluent. I'll put it that way. There's, you know, no shade in that. Like, I think from what I'm understanding, Duolingo is great if you just kind of want to understand some basic stuff. Like, you're not, you know, trying to learn the whole thing. You're not trying to work towards being fluent. You just want to be informed. Seems to be the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then maybe after a year of that, I would like to talk about maybe getting in a course, or maybe doing something like Rosetta Stone, something a little bit more comprehensive to be fluent in that language. I have decided, I feel like the universe put this in front of me in so many ways. I was really on the fence with whether I wanted to do Spanish or French first. And I did take a couple years of Spanish in high school, so it seemed natural to want to gravitate back towards that. But I'm really pulled towards French. I really, and Italian, believe it or not. Like those have been what have pulled my attention more. So I ultimately, the universe kind of just put a bunch of signs in front of me, and I am going to work towards learning French. And I'm going to start in November, again, just to kind of start that journey. I'm not necessarily a hard and fast person when it comes to saying, okay, I'm going to start my goals on January 1. I'm definitely not that person. I've started goals in November and December and February. I definitely don't adhere to the New Year's resolution aspect at all. I usually just have goals. So that's how I look at that. But anyways, I ended up putting logging mood and energy and supplements. They're not bad. There's things I still want to track. I just wish I would have written that out differently. 10-minute project is something that's hung out for a while, and I really find it very useful when I am able to do it. 10-minute project idea, I'm not really sure where it spawned from. I feel like it was like a podcast or something that I listened to that was basically like, if you can work on something, I think it was for like 3 or 5 minutes. It was for a very short interval. And the point of it was taking these bigger projects that you never really seem to have time for. So this would be like cleaning out your craft room, like deep dive cleaning out your craft room. It might be a closet project. For me, sometimes it's in the office. That's kind of where it started. We had a lot of older files that needed to be sorted and filed, and in some cases discarded, but it seemed like such a big project. So I was goaling myself every day in the office to spend 10 minutes on it if time permitted. So let's say, or if I was like, I gotta get up. Like I can't sit here anymore. My eyes are going funny. Like I need to get up and move. It was a really great project for that. I just pull the file sorter box out and just start going through it. And I'd set a timer for 10 minutes and I would feel so great by the end of it that I would accomplish something. Another tip that I liked when it came to home activities, like my closet, and you can have one for both, and you'll notice that I never put what the project is because sometimes it's at work, and like right now, my project is to work on cards for the holiday season for our office. So whenever I have 10 minutes, I can sign cards, like the Christmas cards, because we have quite a few to mail out to clients, and we all sign them. And another part of that is getting the birthday cards ready for December because I like to be ahead. And again, things are really chaotic. So not every day, I can't work on it every day. But when I have a moment to, that's a really good opportunity for that. And again, I don't write down what it is because sometimes it's digital files that have stacked up. Sometimes at my house, it's the closet. Sometimes it's crafts. Sometimes it's the freaking patio that needs attention because there's so much going on out there right now as we're winding down to the season and things need to come inside. So the point being that those projects that really tend to like take up good chunks of your time, but you really want to make a dent in when you can, 10 minutes feels so good to just be like, thank God I spent 10 minutes on it and at least that little nugget's done. And yes, it takes a while, but it also doesn't feel like you took an entire day of your life working on it just to have that one project done. And there's nothing wrong with that either. One of my favorite things to do when I know that I'm going to have more time, like say I know I have an hour to devote, but I'm worried that I'm not going to stay focused. I love throwing on a podcast and just listening to that. So sometimes I'll backstock a couple podcasts and then, go after it. So that's a little bit about 10-minute projects. Reading, I really have fallen off a good bit with that. I was doing really well in a couple previous months, and I'd really like to get back into that. I'm looking at maybe doing a book club, not hosting one, but being in some for next year. So I really just want to make sure that I'm upping my reading game a little bit. Working on the custom Project Life 5-year and tracking spending are other things that I'll be working on tracking. I'm saying this, I haven't created it yet. I would love to have a tracker because there's so many parts of this project that are completed. And I think that I would feel like such an ease if I could see it all in almost like a Excel spreadsheet kind of fashion. So I'm really torn. Do I want to do it in an Excel spreadsheet, or do I want to do it physical, or one or the other, and then like maybe start with Excel and then break it down even further into like a hand-drawn one, just because it would be something fun and creative to do. Project Life in 5 year, as we inch towards the end of the year, is just something that I'm passionate about because I do have plans regarding Project Life for next year and also video content. So if you're a Project Life person or a scrapbooker, there is definitely more coming for you in 2024. And that's kind of a twofold situation. One, it's something that's close to my heart and I love, but it will also keep me accountable, and it will also help me encourage people to, what is that up there? It looks like a bug. But basically making sure that I stay accountable and that I also encourage people to complete past years or projects or finish projects and things like that. So very much looking forward to getting back on the Project Life train. And to do that, I need to kind of like dust off, you know, myself a little bit in the books and the crafts and just kind of stretch that muscle again. You'll see track spending, and that's just because for the last 2 months I haven't tracked. So it's really important that as I get into the new year and start trying to frame out what my goals want to look like in terms of budgeting, that I start tracking the actual spending and what things actually cost. And I think I've talked about this when it comes to fitness, when it comes to anything and everything, basically. Track first, create goals second. Like literally, I encourage you to track something for anywhere between a month to 2 months, a full quarter if you can. I don't care if it's fitness, I don't care if it's spending, I don't care what calories, I don't care what it is. I really, really, really encourage you to track for a full quarter if you can, because if you don't, then you will find yourself kind of chasing a dragon a bit, I find. And this goes back to the $150 budget. I really struggled with it. And it wasn't because I was spinning out craziness, but it was because things were just inflating so much. And I also talked about this when it came to spending. And I know I keep circling back to the spending side, but I feel like it's the easiest topic to latch onto. But I even thought as far as to say, like, what if I changed it to weekly, but that I also had like a quarterly household supply budget? So I don't know about you, and I'm sure everyone's goals are different, but you know, Binks's supplies are almost on a quarterly rotation. So if I created like a quarterly shopping list and said, okay, this is paper towels, toilet paper, checking all of the cleaning supplies, checking all the cat supplies, those are pretty expensive things that are gonna affect my budget. Like a $35 bag of cat food, it's gonna completely affect my spending budget for the week. But again, that's not necessarily for me, that's for her. And that was a lot of the struggle that I had as I tracked throughout the year, and gifts were also in that. So it's allowed me to see where those areas of opportunity are and see how I need to restructure my brain, but also the budget. So just seriously, I cannot stress it enough. If there's something that you really want to see movement and growth and change in, just start tracking and start small with those goals and say, hey, you know, and this is another thing, saying, hey, I only want to have one dinner out a week. Like Jeff and I started having that conversation, to where one night a week we wanted to go to, like, not necessarily like a super fancy dinner, but you know, obviously not quick takeout. We're really not big fans of, we don't do drive-through or anything like that. And that's not to say it's wrong, but like 99.9% of the food that we eat, I would say the only drive-through that we actually participate in is a Chick-fil-A, and we don't even do that together. It's like a breakfast crack in case of emergency kind of thing. Like we're both Chick-fil-A people when it comes to that situation. I've gone on some Zaxby's tangents, but we're not here for that. The point is that, you know, saying, okay, we're going to agree to treat ourselves. Otherwise, let's split up the rest of the dinners. Like, you take a certain amount, I take a certain amount, and then the weight's not on one person. So it allows you to have conversations with your partners. Obviously, if you don't have a partner to consult with, it can sometimes be quite a bit smoother. But I have a lot of suggestions for that, and I will be doing more meal prep planning into 2024 and the end of 2023 as well. So I feel like that's enough on the tracker page. So we're gonna just go ahead and hop right on over to this super stinking cute page that I've got going. And I do need to grab my Tombow so I give you an accurate color. So sorry about that quick little pause. All right, so when it comes to this super cute tracker, I used 553 to do all my YouTube icons, and then I used 992 to do my swatches. So I used to have my cleaning list in my idea booklet back here, but I really don't use, I never looked at it, which I could not believe like how much more I thought about, have I cleaned that yet? Have I done that yet? Because I am constantly looking at this page to see where I'm at with uploads. So in the past, what I would do is I would plan all my videos for the entire month. And while I do that on like sloppy notebook pieces of paper, I was finding that it was really sloppy when it made it into my planner, because then I'd get started on the month and something would happen, or maybe I'd order something and it'd come in the middle and I'd be really excited and want to show it to you guys. Like, there were all these things that kept moving and changing, and so there'd be arrows and it would look like a hot mess. What I have found looks absolutely wonderful and is lovely to see is when I write out what the video is once I've posted it. So for instance, I'm going to definitely, whenever this video is done, I'm gonna write in November plan with me, because that's when it's coming up. My new challenge to myself is that I get to color in the icon only when I've done the descriptions and chapters. And I'm hoping that that's gonna encourage me to fulfill them a little bit easier. And at this point, I wanna go ahead and say, if there's ever a time when you're watching a video and there's no chapter or descriptions, which is gonna be often because it's my least favorite thing in the whole wide world to do, please ask if you wanna know where something's from, or like I haven't said what it is. So I'm just throwing that out there. But I'm hoping that that will encourage me to do that a little bit more. I think that births from, as long as I'm ahead, then I can start going backwards. Like, what, you know, it would be great if I could just kind of do it all in once. Like, that would just be fantastic, but it doesn't always work like that. And so I have to be realistic that that's kind of my next little mountain to climb in my YouTube content creation journey. As far as this cute little sticker, it's from the Coffee Monster Co. November kit. Those are from 2022, and I am so sad because she's already taken them off her site, and I was kind of thinking about getting them for 2024, even after I saw the new release, but it looks like she's cleaned them out of both the Etsy and the normal website. So I'm gonna have to conform. I'm either gonna have to go with the kits from last year, or I'm gonna have to get on board with the 2024 kits. And again, the 2024 kits are beautiful, so I'm definitely not opposed to that. And again, I only found myself using limited, like mainly that stickers, and you can actually just buy that sheet. You don't have to buy the whole kit. So we'll see what that brings. Again, lots of planner setup videos are gonna start or like lineup videos are gonna start happening in November, and then we're gonna go through all of the setups in December on a lot of those lives. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I would also love to know what you guys are using, and if you know what you guys are using, very excited to hear what everyone's planned for. But as I said, I have decided to switch from using this sidebar to do like a to-do list to making a cleaning list. And I think that this is very helpful because, again, I'm gonna look at this page at least twice a week now, and you would think that that would have been beneficial for my goals, but it wasn't, because honestly, they just didn't have a place. A lot of them were like longer term goals or things that were written down somewhere else. So it was like, I was duplicating that information, and it was more of like, hey, if you have time, or here's some 10-minute project ideas. Like, I mean, it just didn't make a lot of sense. So I think this is much better and has worked much better for me in October. And again, it's just like a basic cleaning list. And then I've used a Tombow Food Nosoke. I think this is the hard tip to make like the smaller letter to write that in. I'm definitely practicing my hand lettering with those Tombow Food Nosokes. They're a little clunky to learn with. But then I also have an other section, which I love, and I can always add more to. So that is what a monthly setup spread for me looks like in my planner. Flipping over to the weeklies, I am showing this, and I did show it in my October setup video, but since the majority of the month, or the majority of this week, is going to be November, I thought I would show it in this video as well. I set up my weeklies with one thing and one thing only, and that is a piece of washi tape, or strips of washi tape, whatever. I set it up with the washi tape that's gonna kind of drive the color scheme. Not kind of, definitely. Sometimes I'll even put like a post-it note if I just want to use like a specific kit. I've done that in the past as well. This washi tape is from a collaboration that was done with Vila Beautiful and Dana Dunn, who is the owner and creator for Magical Plans. And I absolutely love her stuff and her aesthetic. It's so cute. So this was definitely a perfect week for that, because this is obviously the week of Halloween and Day of the Dead and Samhain, and just, you know, that moment of, okay, we're really in it now. Like, we are really going towards the dark side, ladies and gentlemen, and word has it they have cookies. But I just really loved that black and white monochromatic kind of grayscale look. I think it's going to be beautiful, and I can't wait. I immediately decided to start switching it up for the actual month of November as I dove in, because I really kept noticing how thick it was up here and how thin it was down here, and it was making it kind of a pain in the butt. I obviously know I'm not going to salvage the evenness of this planner by doing this for 1 or 2 months, but my thought process behind this was that I could use the and I'm so sorry about the sirens. I live off of a highway and I cannot control traffic, even though I wish I could a lot of the time, especially in the middle of the night when they decide to do this. So I'm really sorry about that. But my goal is to keep the weather up top. What I would like to do is move my tarot and crystals up to the top, which normally I'll do in this bottom section. And then I'll get into my normal daily, hourly log to-do list. And then at the end of the day, I want to challenge myself to log a gratitude and a mood energy in this little space. So ideally, in the lines above the faces, I would do my gratitude, what I'm grateful for. And obviously I feel like November is a big gratitude month. But I also want to encourage myself to do like random acts of kindness, whether that's sending a happy meal, whether that's paying for a person's coffee behind me or a chicken biscuit behind me or something like that. Like, I really just want to challenge myself to have small acts of kindness. Like, I don't need to buy family of 4 dinner. If I could, I would, but like small things to just make someone's day a little bit brighter, easier. I might make some bracelets because I still have tons of supplies. I still have tons of bracelets left over. So maybe I'll take those with me and keep them in my car and just give them out to people that make me smile. Or, I really want to challenge myself to just kind of put that energy back into, I've really been practicing this last, I would say these last few days for sure. There was a collective reading with Sagittarian Tarot, and then I also had a card personally done for me, and it's a card that I've also pulled recently. I've been getting a lot of Pentacles right now, but 6 of Pentacles is kind of like enveloped me at the moment, which, in case you're not very familiar with tarot or anything, that's basically being open to receiving gifts and giving when you can. And it's also about understanding that not everything is monetary. So it could be, in this case, this is a perfect example. I forget sometimes that being like a positive Peggy and being a planner babe and doing all of the things that I do is a currency. It may not necessarily be like monetary, but like by hyping someone up or by just cuddling Jeffrey because he's had a hard day is a currency. Bringing a cookie from the freezer from Gideon's and sharing that with him because they're special to me and he knows that they're special and that they are, the world is burning emergency cookies. Or sharing like my mom's spaghetti that again is pretty much the same, is a currency. By just listening, that's a currency. By, giving your time to someone else is a currency. It does not have to be monetary. And then in the same vein of that, I forget that I can say yes to when people are offering me help. I have a huge issue with not delegating and not asking for help when I need it, but then complaining that I feel overwhelmed. And I feel like we can all rest in that place and feel that vibe. But the perfect example for this was yesterday on the way to his house. He had gotten off before me and he was way ahead of me actually. And he was pulling into Publix to get his own groceries. And he was like, what all did we need for dinner so that you don't have to stop? There's no point in both of us stopping. And it was just such a relief to say, yes, that would be wonderful. I'll text you what we need. And he got it. And there was no complaint. There was no nothing. I then proceeded because I didn't have to stop. I wasn't as stressed out and I was able to help him with dinner so that he could clean out his fish tank. And it just goes back to not everything is a monetary currency, that helping someone and just being flexible and all of those things are so great for your mental well-being. So I just encourage you, for most people, this is a very busy time of the year as we head into that holiday season, and there's a lot to do, but there's also a lot to be grateful for, a lot to notice, and a lot to give, and a lot to receive. So I would just encourage you to keep your eyes open for opportunities like that. So I'll quit the rant, but I'm also hoping to use this bottom section for meal planning a little bit more. It's something that I've fallen off very much, and I think it would serve me to get back in the groove of. That way I would be using the whole spread for the first time in a really long time. And again, I leave myself a lot of room for these reasons. I like to experiment. I like to play. So I did use the super cute Fall Critters 2.0 washi. I'm pretty sure that's the 2.0. I only have a sample of it and I've been kind of hoarderific with it, but I cannot wait to see this super pretty orange and brown and taupe and just soft spread. I cannot wait to see how this spread comes out. I have mixed feelings about this particular spread. So, I'm going to try to remember all of the names of these as best as I can, so I'm really sorry if I flub anything up, but they'll be generic, and unfortunately, I don't think any of these are available anymore, so I'm not really showcasing anything crazy. Okay, so I think this is Blossoming Neighborhood. This is like a cafe, coffee and cafe, or cafe something. This is the Affirmations washi. This is the tea 2.0. This is a Galaxy washi that was from the Q1 subscription for 2023. We're in 2023. This is the self-care washi, and this is reading and resting, or resting and reading and whatever. I really wanted a rainbow week. I got it, but it's really not my normal rainbow week, and I really feel called to now show you, like, that is more of the style of a rainbow week for me. I think I have one more in here somewhere. I love a good rainbow week, so I'm sure there's another one in here somewhere. There's another one. I don't know. I just don't feel like it flows as well, and I can't tell if it's because this is so small, and then I tried to kind of even it out by doing the Galaxy. I feel like it works so much better when it's all like the emoji style. That's just my personal vision of it, but I'll be anxious to see what happens with it. I just don't think I'm gonna love that. I don't know. I could surprise myself. But I'm not the biggest fan of it, but that's okay. At least I tried something new. This week is going to be the week of Thanksgiving, so this was naturally that perfect spot for the cute new, I think it's like called pumpkin, is it called pumpkin patch washi? I feel like it is. This is definitely one of my favorites. I still can't believe I only bought 2 rolls, but I'm very proud for showing some generalized restraint there. And again, I cannot wait to see that like orange golden. I love those colors. I love fall colors. So I feel like this is going to be very similar to this spread. This I feel like is going to be more orange heavy and have those browns, whereas this is going to start incorporating like those softer grays. And I love this like flesh tone kind of soft color. I definitely feel like they're both going to have a different color vibe, but I'm going to love them so much. And the last week of the month as we head into December, I have been dying to do like a magical forest week because I do have kits for it and I just have had it in my stash. This is actually from samples that I got off Etsy when I first started with Coffee Monster Co. And then I got really lucky and found some rolls on Pippi Plans. So I'm really jazzed that I'm going to do a whole week dedicated to that kit and theme as well. But other than that, that is done as far as what my setup is going to look like for November. I hope that wasn't too ranty. I hope that it was comforting and inspiring, and I hope that you guys got some great ideas, and I hope that you guys feel like you've gotten permission to not cover everything with a sticker and not have a plan right off bat, and to give you the freedom to try new things and feel comfortable in making mistakes, because that is what above all I really want you to take away from my channel and from just kind of my ethos is try new things, make mistakes, track, grow, create your own wonderlands. I really encourage you to dive into that, especially as we get ready for a new year and getting ready to cultivate a whole new year's worth of dreams and goals. So if you have any questions, ideas, comments, please pop them down below. Again, thank you so much. And as we enter gratitude season, first and foremost, I want to tell you guys how thankful and grateful I am for all of you. Those of you that interact, those of you that don't, and just as a note as well, if you ever feel called to contribute, keep in mind there are usually affiliate links down below in the descriptions when I do them. And there is also the super thanks feature on them, and whenever I do the lives there will be a super chat feature where you can contribute monetarily if you can. Again, contribute what you can, whether it's a heart, a like, a subscribe, or whether you feel inclined and moved to contribute monetarily. I am grateful for you regardless. So thank you guys so much. Happy November 1st, and until the next video, enjoy creating your own little wonderlands. Bye everybody.